Welcome to CRIMEPOD. Today, before we begin, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Dr. Joe Waters, and I'm a forensic doctor, and I examine every evidence in murder cases. However, I'm not alone with this such a thing. I do appreciate police investigators and detectives working on the case. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the Beverly Bottomley murder. The Beverly Bottomley murder happened 4 years ago, and I was pretty much led to that area by a police detective who showed me the body of Beverly Bottomley. Beverly Bottomley was found murdered in her wheelchair. She was stabbed 42 times with, can you believe it, a banana. Well, bananas don't kill people, people kill people. And I can say this was a strange thing it was a kind of strange situation where fruit was a murder weapon. I've never been close to anything like it before, but it is incredible how the world works. However, I led to the conclusion that the murder weapon was somewhere in the household, and I was trying to speak to the maid, but she was deaf and mute, so I had to kind of improvise to get information from her. I didn't do very well, for say the least. And of course we have Jeff Jeffries. Well, Mrs. Beverly Bottomley, she was married to Joe Bottomley. Joe Bottomley, he died in 1991, strapping himself. Well, he killed himself, basically. He committed suicide. He left a suicide note and left everything to Beverly Bottomley. She inherited everything. He had 80% of shares, and he was a very wealthy man. He was a meat lover, and Mrs. Beverly Bottomley was a vegetarian, which seems to indicate, of course, that she loved fruits and everything. And she was a very wealthy woman. After, of course, Joe Bottomley died, which led to my suspect, which was Jeff Jeffries. Jeff Jeffries he must have been 23 at the time. I don't know, or was it? I don't even know how old it was. I'm getting senile in my years. I guess it's something that is just passing on from generation to generation. I don't know. Well, I saw it 4 years ago, and of course he is in jail, but if Beverly Bottomley, she was found stabbed 42 times, and what I seen at the crime scene was, of course, there was a lot of calculated blood there, but I see some small indication that there was some other fluid there as well. It was yellow. She had cat. It was litter all over the place. The cat was, I think she had two cats. One was Bobo and one was, I don't know, Mrs. Mina. I don't know what her name was. Named after the famous movie, Dracula. Well, she was indicated, okay, yeah, wear a hat, okay, it's the shooter boy. For me, wearing glasses look like I do. Well, I am not going to talk about anything like that, but I am just fascinated with the idea what coming to do forensic things that I just found out. Of course, the murder victim has 42 stab wounds, and it was a bruiser machine. She was leant over in the wheelchair like this, and I went investigated it. I found a little piece of small yellow thing, and it was in her wound. And I looked everywhere for evidence, searched through the rooms, I didn't find anything, didn't find any murder weapon. I thought it was knives, but can you believe it? When I found out I investigated it, I found out that it tasted like sweet, and I knew it was, in fact, banana. But it was a little bit wet. Of course, it led me to suspicion that we were dealing with a professional hitman. And I think Dave Davis was a hitman, but he stabbed her to death. He confessed to me later on that he stabbed her to death. And the motive was, of course, his father was destroyed by Mrs. Beverly bottomly, she had an affair, and he wanted out, but he couldn't stand it any longer to see her, she having an affair with a, with a kind of a strange man, jerk. And he killed himself by strapping an antenna to his head, and Mrs. Jeffries was angry and bitter, so he went a little cock-a-doodle-doo, 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 and stabbed her to death 42 times with a stiff banana. The banana had been in the refrigerator, in the freezer for 48 hours, he told me. And he had a kind of, you know, used to knife and used to, yeah, make it a little more poignant. And that's what happened. It's unbelievable. So, it's the most freest experience I ever, the household was pretty neat, though. It was a very good, big property. And she was very rich. And, I can understand Jeffries was a very bitter man because she took most of the money from Joe. Joe was, of course, Jeffrey's father, which makes Jeffrey mother, not mother, but she was in fact the stepmother. So there you go, my folks, and God bless Mrs. God bless Mrs. Beverly's soul. May she rest in peace, and you'll find comfort that the convict is now in prison for life, eating nothing but bananas. Thank you, and welcome to the next podcast. Next time I will talk to you about another weird murder case. Do you get it? Murder case.